Hello! So today's vlog is a little different. It's going to be my first time actually doing this watch-along react video. I was interested in seeing if there were any movies about the PhD experience, and there's not much. There's a lot about university, but not specifically PhD, until I found out about this movie. It's Piled Higher and Deeper, the PhD movie. It's actually based on a series of comics and eventually became a feature film, independently produced, was directed by Vahe Gabuchian, and written by George Cham. I am getting this information from Wikipedia, by the way. It was a collaboration between Cham and the theater group at California Institute of Technology, and it screened across different campuses, etc., etc. I thought, what an opportunity to do this for the PhD vlog. I can provide the link to the film if you want to watch it in advance, or, you can just watch it now with me. It's going to be a little bit spliced. If it's your first time here, a little context, I am a PhD student. My name is Xanthe, and I am currently researching children's opinions of horror and children's horror movies. I'm very curious about this film and excited to watch it because it's actually created by academics. Let's dive in. I don't know anything, but I do know that everything is interesting. And that bike looks fun. It's scary. That was gonna fall into the water. I have a humanities PhD, but it looks like it sets it up very clearly that these are academics who are focused on science. Higher, and deeper. So these are the 4 students, I'm assuming, that we are following. Very different personalities.
Professor, I was hoping I could talk to you about your research.
What for? It's all on my webpage.
I'm a first-year master's student, and I was hoping I could do a PhD in your research area.
And you want me to fund you and be your thesis advisor. Being a PhD student, working with a professor, it's a lot like a marriage. Whole thing typically lasts 5 to 7 years. 50% of them end in a bitter divorce. And it all culminates in a big ceremony where you walk down the aisle wearing a fancy gown.
This can be relatable to those people who already knew they were going into a PhD. I've heard different stories about how supervisors are. For me, since I was in America, or I am from America, I had my first meeting with my potential supervisors, who are now my supervisors, over Zoom. And it was very intense for me because it's oh my gosh, these people with PhDs and trying to get in and got to impress them. Obviously, this is a comedy, and he's kind of why don't you just look at my profile? But I feel like that's pretty funny because there are, sadly, academics who are a little bit full of themselves. The equivalent of the film industry and being look at my IMDb page. In this case, all of my publications and all the pretty stuff that I've done. As far as George Cham, since he's a writer, I'm assuming he either had this experience, but it truly is a marriage.
This may sound cruel, but we in academia, we stand at the cutting edge between humanity and the great abyss. Between ignorance and truth.
Well, what if I don't make it as a PhD student? What am I gonna do? I don't have a backup plan.
Yeah, the issue of if you don't get into the university for the PhD that you apply for, because in my experience, for my current university, I had to submit a research proposal. And even that was so intimidating and a lot to prepare for, which was not a requirement for the American university. I imagine there can be a lot of pressure for some of you out there who are oh, I'm in my master's, I want to do a PhD, don't know what I'm going to do afterwards. If I didn't get in with my research proposal, I would have just continued my route into the industry. Because I'm a filmmaker, so. But then again, you could always try. If you didn't get in, you could try again later.
What? This? It's my favorite shirt. I got it free my freshman year. It reminds me of a simpler time, of my dream to come to grad school and make a difference with my research.
So what happened to that dream?
It's stained and crumbling.
Yeah, so this kind of humor around like, oh yeah, it's stained and crumbling now. At the beginning when you're kind of like, oh my gosh, like my research is really great and important, and it is, but like there's so much that's happening that makes you feel like, is what I'm doing really that important? PhD students, period, are very anxious and sad most of the time because it's a lot. An incoming breakdown seems to be part of the PhD experience. So, not to depress anyone who's trying to apply for one.
Did you know that it pays more to work at McDonald's than to get a PhD from a major university?
Today's my first day as a teaching assistant for Professor Chu's class.
Oh, really? I thought you were fully funded already.
True, I don't have to TA, but I'm really excited about it. I watched Dead Poet Society last night for inspiration.
You know that movie doesn't end well.
Being funded is another thing, and if you can, that's the ideal scenario. And yeah, there are options that you can get paid, like being a staff member or being a TA. I'm currently trying to be a TA at some point, but so limited. Like at least in my department, like the availability is very scarce because we're very small. And the fact that she's fully funded, some people might be sour if you're doing that too much, like for not giving the opportunity to the non-funded students.
Oh, I'm so sorry I'm late. The last meeting I was at ran over a little bit. I'm really sorry.
Professor, I was hoping that I could talk to you about your research.
Come on. Okay. Okay. Right, yes, I'll be right there.
Period. Academics, like supervisors, they're extremely busy. They have multiple students that they're most likely helping, and then on top of teaching, university-related things that they have to attend to. And I've heard horror stories from certain students where it can be literally like this scene. The student will come up to them and be like, oh, I need, let's have our monthly meeting, our supervisory meeting. And then they're just like so not present, and sometimes you can't even reach them. I hope not for you. I don't wish this on any student to have a supervisor like this.
For this class, your TA is Cecilia.
Oh, this movie is very much of its time. May smoke Facebook.
Ways, left and right.
Yes, I would love to take you as my PhD student.
Really? Great. I cannot tell you how hard.
Unfortunately, I just got denied tenure.
What?
They're kicking me out. I guess getting published in the journal Science and landing a $15 million contract isn't enough around here.
Hey, can I get an extension?
On what?
The homework.
We haven't assigned any yet. It's the first day of class. Yeah.
No.
Of course. No problem. I'm here to help you guys. Oh, Captain, my captain.
I have friends who are teaching, and you are going to meet some really interesting students that you're going to be dealing with who are like this. Some of the things that I've heard from my peers about with ChatGPT, first of all, being a thing, people trying to cut corners, and like I think there was a situation where somebody didn't even remove the like insert thing here, and they submitted it like that. I've always wondered why people pay so much money to attend university, but then they act like this.
Hey, can I get an extension?
I guess. Are you super busy too?
My boyfriend just proposed to me, and we all went out to celebrate.
Can I also maybe get an extension because I am very, very, very hungry?
How long before I finish my PhD? Well...
How long? Don't ever ask a student that. How long until your PhD's done? Do not enter.
Hold a sec.
One time, I had an office that was a closet.
The first lesson in being a PhD student is learning about the most important thing in a PhD student's life.
You mean the Force?
The free food.
Free food! Amen to that. Like,
Okay.
we always need free food. I get mad when they say there's food and there's not. I'm very passionate about this if you can't tell.
Is this food for us?
Nah, it's for the special relativity seminar.
I think they could have like gone further with the how depressing a PhD can be, because sometimes they'll be like, oh, we have food, and then we'll just be like popcorn, crisps. And so that was actually more on the decent side, the fact there were sandwiches there.
Smith Lab.
Okay, labs are not a thing I know about as a humanities researcher. The white lab coats are pretty cool.
So,
Giving American
you feel
Psycho.
more... That's Carlos.
Oh.
That's Deva. He already has a PhD from his home country, but the only job he could get there was as a taxi driver.
The tips are better here.
That's Sean, but everybody calls him Golden Boy.
Guys, I keep telling you, I'm not Professor Smith's favorite.
A favorite.
And that's Allison. She's number 2 on the lab hierarchy.
So, how's research going?
Don't you know you're never supposed to ask a grad student that question? It's just rude.
It's true.
How's your thesis going?
Come on, why don't you just ask her weight and age while you're at it? Gosh.
Hey, Mike, do you have any more advice?
Yeah. Don't go for your PhD.
What is this?
Hi, Cecilia.
Oh, hi.
What is this? PhD students don't socialize or dance.
It looks like you need some help.
Okay.
Actually, I read a study once that said that people who are normally more uncomfortable in social situations really love ballroom dancing. It's a more structured form of interaction.
That makes sense.
There's an agreed upon set of
I
rules,
took a ballroom
and if you follow them,
dancing
you're
class
pretty
before.
much
It's
guaranteed not to
fun.
embarrass yourself.
They having some chemistry here.
There's the Roomba. Maybe we should just watch this one. People always talk about the tango and ballroom dance, but I think the rumba is much more interesting.
The lip
It's about
bite.
the point in the relationship.
Don't date a PhD student.
The key to dancing.
That's what I hear anyway.
I'm undeclared.
You're what?
Undeclared.
You're an undergrad?
To be fair, a lot of those clubs are frequented by undergrads mostly.
So I've got some good news and some bad news. The good news is that we've been invited to submit a paper to a prestigious conference in Hawaii. The bad news is that one of you is going to have to write that paper, and the deadline is tonight. Also, I'll be the one going to Hawaii, not you.
What about holidays?
Holidays are only for normal people.
Yeah, that's true. As a PhD student, holidays and regular university schedules do not apply to you. People will be like, so are you doing anything for the summer? Are you doing anything for Easter? For this day? And we're like, working. We don't have breaks. Like, we have to schedule in our own breaks.
Analytical
At the
formulation.
chalkboard.
That thing I was working on.
I haven't seen a chalkboard in years. Oop. Fancy library, I'm assuming. Oh, okay. I'm sure a lot of people feel that way.
I need help with the homework.
Is it the foot
Of
shot?
course. That's
Really Tarantino?
What did you have trouble with?
I'm pre-med. I'm gonna be, a real doctor.
And the fact
Oh,
that real human
real
lives
doctor.
are going to depend on you one day really scares me.
Can I have extension?
A little bit ASMR here.
You got your third years. They only care about qualifying exams. Then you have the departmental staff. You want to be nice to them. Then you got your cool grad students, the bitter postdocs, and then there's Aaron. He's not cutting his beard until he finishes his thesis.
My girlfriend left me.
There are people like that.
And then there's the faculty, with the first and second years schmoozing up to them.
That
with much
all
bigger
feels
egos.
pretty accurate.
Is that Professor Smith's wife?
She looks so nice. Nice weather we've been having, Professor Smith, huh?
Small talk is for small minds. You know the difference between those who succeed in academia and those who don't? It's ambition. Say, do you play squash?
Squash?
So when he said squash, I thought he was talking about the drink thing that people here in the UK use. They mix it with water, so it can be like flavored water. They'll have it at like every event. I forget what flavors there are, like grape or whatever. And then I was about to grab it, and then someone's like, no! It was like slow motion. Don't drink that by itself. In the British version of this movie, squash would be in there, the drink.
Hold this.
I have a friend that said they hate red text. Red corrections are intense for them.
So, do you want to play by British traditional or world squash rules?
Either's fine.
So that's what squash is.
Don't go easy on me. In research, you've worked mainly in isolation. It should be the sole focus of
That's
your life. You need to eat,
Isolation.
sleep, breathe your research.
I'm allowed to sleep?
Playing squash with Professor Smith?
Man, I wish I
really
had that kind
emphasizing
of
this.
relationship with Professor Smith.
Here are the papers for you to grade. Don't worry, it will not be due until the 17th.
Paper marking.
That's next to Monday.
Paper grading.
Really?
No, I don't think it should take too long. I mean, we went over this stuff like a million times in class, right? They should all get a perfect score.
Wrong. Wrong.
The problem is that to the university, we're in this weird limbo state. Are we students? Employees? Neither?
They're really pushing the Hawaii thing with the ukulele.
You know it's too hard.
I like how the text is on the screen like that.
You know it's too
I have friends who are TAs and they, the grading papers, marking papers is a real time sucker.
Hello? You didn't even put your name on the paper.
The way she just crumpled it up.
I'm stapling Taco Bell job applications to all of the papers. If undergrads are our future, we are all doomed.
The undergrad
Cecilia.
slander.
Hi, it's me, Julie. We went to high school together. Seared salmon with lemon reduction. That sounds amazing. Say hi to the kids for me. Bye. John's a bit of a chef. Do you have any kids?
No.
Married?
No.
Seeing anyone?
No.
Oh.
A lot of people who are doing a PhD can feel a little weird in terms of like people that surround them tend to be in like this kind of space where they're having kids, married, kind of reaching like a steady point in their careers, but PhD students are still in school. There's a really funny scene in the film My Old Ass with Aubrey Plaza where she speaks to her younger self and she's like, just let you know in your future you're doing a PhD, and it's awesome.
That you are a PhD student. Fuck yeah. No, what? You're joking. But I don't want to tell you in what, because I want you to have something to look forward to.
Look forward to?
Yeah.
Did you just tell me I'm in my 40s and I'm still in school?
30s. Dude, what the fuck?
I bet you're off doing something amazing.
Actually, I'm still in school.
Oh. Here. Bye.
The foot
wait.
shot again.
Are we...
I like how she doesn't even try to help herself. She's just like, I'm so done.
Working hard or hardly working?
It's so cheesy.
Both.
It's very of its time.
I'm working hard, but this is hardly working. I haven't slept in days. I've eaten nothing but ramen and caffeine.
That's the PhD
Ever heard
diet.
of a balanced diet?
PhD diet's caffeine.
Yes.
There is no limit to how long you can spend in grad school.
How has nobody else ever done this before? I mean, I can think of three possibilities. A, it's impossible. B, nobody's bothered to do it because it's useless. C, somebody has tried it before, I just don't know about it.
A lot of people come into this being like, what am I doing? Like, what is this? Has anyone else done this and gave up?
Maybe you are smarter than all the rest. You're the one, Neo.
Allison, you ever feel like you're just an imposter? Like everyone just hasn't noticed that you're not as good as they think you are?
I'll let you in on a little secret. Around here, everyone is an imposter.
I've heard this from people who are more advanced into their degree and also just like already done with the PhD. And you're gonna feel imposter syndrome. You're gonna feel like, why am I the one who's an expert on this, even when you get your PhD? But it's just something that you have to embrace and not beat yourself up about. Are you married? Asian heartthrob coming
David,
through.
I had a whole lecture prepared. I brought special notes and practice problems. I even made cupcakes. I was up last night making a dance routine for hash tables. I was up all night rehearsing it. Hash tables are data structures with keys and buckets. You can search associative arrays like a super fast rocket.
Aw. I really feel for this character because hearing the stories of how students can be from my peers who are actually TAs, it's like some of them work so hard to create like a presentation and experience for them to learn. And a lot of the time, like they don't show up, they're not interested, they can't be bothered. Some TAs are really great at like being an entertainer and keeping students engaged, while others struggle. And sometimes it's not the fault of the TA. It's just a matter of like the personalities.
Am I just a bad TA?
Well, it's not you. It's the dance competition. That's something that you'd like to bring a date to, because I was thinking...
Listen, David, you're a nice guy, even for an undergrad. But I don't have time to be in a relationship. I need to focus on my thesis and stop wasting my time with dancing and teaching and... That's not what I meant. And I can't go to industry. What have I been working all this time for? I'd be selling out, like
a regular person? Hey, listen, I'm not asking you to marry me.
She's emotionally unavailable.
You don't get credit for having a life.
Is this gonna be on the
He's
test?
wearing shoes.
I don't want to be here forever. Like
me?
Some people do live in the PhD.
Sometimes I think grad school is just a weird psychological experiment. I've been working here. I've got my coffee and clothes and water and food.
Honestly, my office is kind of like that.
A place to crash.
Not as messy.
And the internet.
You see she's wearing pajamas and everything, and she's just kind of like, what is my life? When you first get here, kind of like very perky and excited, and when things start getting overwhelming, you're like, I just want to be comfortable surviving.
All my friends are online.
How do you find anything?
I know it looks chaotic, but really, it's organized. It's really organized. That's my research papers
Organized
pile.
chaos.
And that's my class stuff pile. And that's my bank stuff pile.
This is the ADHD life, actually.
Isn't your dance competition today?
I can't go. I'm working.
Nobody believed you.
Nobody believes anything in academia. That's the whole point. Life is tough. And then you graduate. Everybody's here because they want to be here. There's nothing reasonable about pursuing a life of reason.
Cecilia, as your roommate and secondary character, I have to tell you, you need to snap out of this funk.
I'm gonna be 35 in a few months. 35? Dating and dancing just don't make for good research.
No, but they do make you happy. You feel like you've lost your passion for research, but maybe you've just forgotten how to be passionate about anything. Graduate school is as much about finding truth in research as it is about finding truth in yourself.
Secondary character here has facts. A lot of the time, it's so easy to get buried into the thesis, into the PhD life, that you kind of like put all of your fun stuff aside, like the stuff you want to do as a person in your regular time. But it's not good because then it leads to madness, which essentially is what she's telling her before she reaches the stage of insanity.
It's easy in research to get tunnel vision. You feel isolated, like you're the only person with your problem. But the truth is,
You're not alone. But whenever I get stressed, I just ask myself the question,
do I really care?
would I rather be doing anything else?
I need to relax.
Exactly.
No,
Hey,
I mean my experiment.
works for him.
That's why I haven't been able to get the data. I need to relax the boundary limit conditions. Of course.
I could still make the competition. Yes.
Another foot shot, bro. Nobody wears shoes in this movie.
Ready to rumba.
Running towards each other.
Are you okay?
Yeah, I will be.
I thought you couldn't make it at the competition.
I decided to give myself
extra credit.
Who's this guy? Right. Replacement Asian. Did I miss something? He seems a little happy that she's seeing someone else. Or dancing with someone else. Oh, is the joke that she can't tell the Asians apart? I'm overthinking it, maybe.
So? That project
He's so
I assigned
happy
you
with himself.
wasn't impossible after all.
I guess not.
It's kind of giving like villain.
Are you surprised by my competence?
I must be
I'm
losing my
surprised
touch.
by my competence.
Well, showing up with the data you did at the last minute, that was dramatic.
A
A little
smug
bit of
smile.
theatrics. Unfortunately, I don't have any funding for another PhD student right now. Do have some interesting ideas for a new proposal. If you'd help me write it, and if it gets funded, I might consider taking you on.
My name is Winston.
Is that the first time we learned of his name as
Very
well?
well.
You came to recitation.
You stopped making lecture handouts.
And so now we have to come and like pay attention and stuff.
Who's ready to learn about hash tables?
Regret.
You think this stuff is cool?
Yeah, but I'm kind of a dork. You're like a grad student waiting to happen.
I hope not, but
Hope not.
thanks again. I'll see you around.
You too.
Jen?
Guess what? Your sugar mama is about to be a real mama. You have 9 months to deliver your thesis.
Mike's married?
That's too funny. That reminds me of my friend who he's like really close with someone and he didn't even know he got married.
Hi. Can I help with that?
Oh, yeah, thanks.
She got her happily ever after, I guess.
Hi. Are you guys graduate students? I'm studying why there's a 50% dropout rate amongst PhD students. That means that 2 out of every 4 graduate students will never graduate. You know, no one's really gonna be your advocate.
That's sadly true.
So, how's research?
Feels like really authentic. Like you could tell the creators are like in this world, and specifically the note about like, oh, no one's gonna advocate for you because you have to do that. I know there's a second part of this. I have not seen it, but it'd be interesting to see this kind of either like remade for modern times, especially because this feels like very 2011. I just realized that I forgot to record an ending to the video, so it's a different day. Let me know what you thought of the watch along, if I should do more of these. If you're a PhD student or a grad student, did you find the PhD movie relatable? I'd love to hear thoughts. As always, thank you so much for watching. If you have any suggestions for videos, feel free to leave a comment below. And please subscribe if you want to. I shall see you in the next video.